Alf, are we soon going to see Panini owned by Fanatics?
Whoa.
Will Prizm live on? Will National Treasures live on? All these famous brands within the Panini portfolio. Today we've got an interesting update. Panini and Fanatics, of course, at odds. They are in court over antitrust stuff, monopoly stuff. And there has been a recent ruling. And while, yes, we'll try to understand a little bit of the recent ruling, I'm not going to dive in and pretend I'm an attorney or a judge or just read off of Paul Lesko's Twitter, other than a couple of parts, which I think are important. I want to talk more about the fallout, or what are the consequences of this case? What is really at stake here? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Before we dive in, huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Pristine Auction. They have upped the ante, $25 off your first auction victory with the SCD code. I've got a link in the video description that will take you there. CD code will take $25 off your first auction victory. And if you want to consign with Pristine as well, they've got great rates. If you mention the sports card dad, they've got a special deal for you over there at Pristine to consign. More and more people are starting to grade with PSA. $25 off your first submission over there at PSA. Grading's not getting any cheaper, friends. The SED25 code at PSA, $25 off. Make sure you take advantage there. And don't forget, we've got Hakes Auctions has got a huge March auction with all the bells and whistles. All the goodness is there. Make sure to check out Hakes Auctions immediately. For those that might be new to the hobby or might not just know what's going on in this case, a quick overview. Panini versus Fanatics. Fanatics came in the middle of the night going back a few years ago, and they took over essentially all of the licenses as they were expiring with Panini. And this was something that nobody really saw coming. Panini has had the basketball and the football licenses for a good bit. Topps, of course, has the baseball license. So essentially, Fanatics came in, swooped in, and added the NFL and the NBA into their portfolio overnight. And there's been a battle ever since that has happened. Panini not happy about it. There was a time where Fanatics and Panini, it looked like there was about to be a sale there, but Fanatics has said that Panini did not present accurate financial data, and so that sale never happened. It fell apart. So they've gone back and forth. They have competing antitrust lawsuits against one another. The recent ruling, and again, I would send you over to Paul Lesko over on Twitter because he's got a full breakdown. It's worth a listen. He is an actual attorney that can speak on it. But essentially what happened is some of the motions, some of the allegations were accepted to move forward. Yes, we can move forward with a case, while others were nixed. And essentially, as we look at what was able to move forward, Panini won that side. The judge ruled in favor of Panini for a few of these motions, and so the case will move forward. I'm going to just read Paul Lesko's main takeaway. So at the end of his synopsis, my main takeaway from these orders is the big fight in the antitrust case will be on whether the pro-competitive justifications for Fanatics' actions outweigh the likely anti-competitive effects. It's kind of is Fanatics better for the market than Panini? And that'll be fun, he says. The other part that he says, of course, is it's going to be mega expensive, and there's going to be a lot of discovery that comes out because there's just going to be millions and millions of dollars of attorneys just working on discovery, working on gathering evidence. And of course, a lot of that will come out into the open and we'll be able to report on it. So I guess it's good for content creators. But this thing is probably going to take years to sort out. I have a little bit of a different feeling on this than what I've heard. What are the ultimate consequences of this? Because from what I understand, I don't believe that the judge is going to say, okay, well, the leagues, you have to work with Panini. We've found in favor of Panini. Fanatics has essentially won these licenses over from the leagues. The players from the Players Association, many of them are invested in Fanatics. So they have more of a vested tie to Fanatics as a company. So to me, it seems inevitable that Fanatics is going to be the one that's still going to have the licenses and making cards. And frankly, this case is not going to be figured out, it doesn't look like, until way after Fanatics has already taken over licensing for NFL and for NBA. So does it mean that there's just going to be a massive payout for Panini? Is that how the ruling works? Does it mean that Fanatics and Panini have to split these licenses? What can the court mandate, I guess, is what I'm trying to kind of sort through on this. There's a part of me that kind of likes the fact that there wouldn't be any more Prizm or National Treasures moving forward, and that we can enjoy and collect what has already been there. So you have 2012 to 2024, and I think long term, people are going to have nostalgic feelings about that brand. I don't necessarily want to see Fanatics making, Prizm, buying Panini and then making Prizm football, basketball along with Topps Chrome. I just think it's going to make it really muddy for people that are trying to figure out, okay, what's the rookie card? What's not the rookie card? I guess you could say, well, it's good for collectors that just want to collect the stuff and they'll have access to all of the Panini products that are licensed, if that's all under the Fanatics umbrella. If Fanatics ends up making some sort of aggressive bid to buy Panini and try to end all this court stuff, I don't know, though. I don't know if that's necessarily a great thing for the hobby as a whole. I kind of like the fact that I've heard that Panini is looking, now that the sports licenses are going away for them, they're looking at other IPs. They're looking at, at other different ways to make cards. We've talked a lot about non-sports and shows and TV and movies and all that stuff. I think it would be awesome for Panini. They already make great looking cards to really get into non-sports entertainment and blow out that side of it. We don't have a dominant force and that side of the market, and there's a ton of demand for it. You look at Rittenhouse releasing Cheers product. Look how well the Topps Star Wars stuff sells. There's a lot of demand for non-sports products, and they tend to be a little bit less expensive than what we see on the sports card side. So it kind of fills a gap where people are looking for trading cards, don't necessarily have huge money to spend on, expensive boxes, $400 or $500, $1,000 hobby boxes. So while this is big news in the sense that, yes, the cases will move forward, we're still years away from any sort of outcome, and I still don't really understand what the outcomes could be. And maybe this is something I'll reach out directly to Paul Lesko to try to sort through, because I would like to understand that. Also, now as we're making buying decisions for certain cards, certain sets, it would be good to know what the possible outcomes could be by a judge, by a court, to help us make better buying decisions. Friends, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.